Howdy everybody. That last video got cut short because a raindrop fell on the stop recording button, but I wanted to film from the side because I haven't shown how weedy the garden has gotten. I really need to get in there and do some more work. Grass is pushed up through the mulch, really taken over in spots I don't want it, but I wanted to show how beautiful things still are. You can see there's a cold hardy yucca. You can see patches of bee balm all throughout there, all sorts of different wildflowers. So we're gonna get in there, start really showing off. There's my rose. It's been a bit battered in the storms, but just heading in through here, through the tall grass. There's my pale purple coneflower. Really beautiful pale purple coneflower. Definitely one of my favorites to see. It's about time for me to cut the comfrey in here back to the ground. Still got a good amount of flowers on it, but it's just starting to run through them. So cut it back, use it to fertilize everything out here. Another asparagus coming up. Take a few steps through here. As we come around here, this is where all that nigella is doing really well. It's also starting to get overtaken by the weeds, but you can see all these seed pods for the nigella are doing just fine. They'll mature and drop seeds soon. I'm not sure what that is, and that looks like a volunteer squash. As we push a little further forward into here, I have nasturtiums I planted. Nasturtiums down there, low to the floor, is a variegated Rose of Sharon, a bunch of garlic around it. There's some sea kale pushing up through the weeds. Turn around, walk a little further this way. I see strawberries and big, happy, healthy sea kale right there. Some garlic. This is a plum. Probably need a lot of pruning work, but I've been behind on that. More weeds, getting into strawberries. Strawberries definitely competed with the weeds in a lot of spots I let them. So if I ever get this under control, strawberries are going to be a big weed stopper. Like you can see right there, almost no weeds made it through that really dense strawberry. And then there's those walking onions. Lots and lots of beautiful bee balm. That was from Richter's. Right here, this is my worst enemy here. This is what really sucked the soul out of a lot of what I was doing, this bindweed. It not only clambers over everything and smothers it out, but it climbs up things too. It's just terrible to try to deal with. But keep walking. There's a blueberry. Some more strawberries we're getting in here. There's kind of the last blooms on my eastern bee balm, low to the ground species. There's the base of one of the older apple trees. Lots and lots of comfrey around there. It's about all that's left that's doing well, really. The haskap. Haskaps are already struggling in our heat. You can see those burnt leaves. They really don't like how intense the heat gets here. But right down in there, there's some, they look kind of like cleavers from here, but they're actually sweet woodruff, which is a really tasty spice. Makes really tasty candy. So I push through here. Seaberry, great nitrogen fixer, and an ocean of strawberries. It's hard to press through without crushing all these strawberries, but all this seems to be mostly weeds, so I'll just stomp right through there. Oh my goodness, my marshmallow plant burst into bloom while I wasn't looking. Much taller than last year. It's as tall as I am now. Same thing as everything. It's a little battered from the storm, but I love marshmallow flowers. Pink purple inside, hibiscus shaped and otherwise pure white. Just a beautiful plant. It's very gently fuzzy and very mucilaginous if eaten. So if you're sick, if you've got a scratchy throat, very, very fuzzy. Not a lot of flavor. You could sneak the younger ones into a salad, but the fuzziness detracts from it. Yeah, they kind of gel up in your mouth. Kind of instantly makes like a gel. It's very soothing. Sort of like eating aloe vera without the bitterness that aloe vera tends to carry with it. Asparagus, sunchokes. Got a lot of things growing where they really shouldn't be because of early on mistakes, but that's life. Right here, still struggling along, not doing the best in the world, probably because of all the weed pressure, but right there is a Shipova pear, really beautiful pear. Start walking over here. Chicago cold hardy fig. I've got a couple videos showing it off. One of these years I'll have to take cuttings and try to propagate it. So far our growing season has been too short to get good fruit off of it, but this will be year 3, so we'll see. Maybe things will be different now that it's had a bit more time to mature. It's a whole lot easier to push through these weeds when it's not super hot out. So kind of a messy garden tour in the wet months. Here's a taller, older Juneberry. This one has flowered 2 years in a row, but the berries did not mature either time. It says it's self-fertile, but I'm starting to really doubt that. Start walking along. Right here, I sprinkled a pack of wildflower seeds a while back. I believe they're asters, but I could be wrong. They seem to quite like life here. Keep pushing through all the tall weeds. Right here we've got a volunteer redbud, some strawberries, and somewhere in this mess I know I have a male seaberry. It keeps getting eaten by deer. So I figured if it gets messy enough, even the deer won't be able to find it, which so far has worked for a lot of other things, but we'll see how it works for the seaberries. Uh-oh. The wind and storm have been so intense, they snapped my, what's it called? My brain's saying hosta. Hollyhock. All those blooms won't make it now. I'm gonna just have to tear it off, and hopefully the plant can send up another, but we'll have to see. Yeah, down in that mess, I know it was near the hollyhock, is a seaberry. So we're gonna keep pushing till we pop out this way, and then we're gonna go around the front where we usually have been going. It's just a shame because that one is really picture perfect, and I would have been picking and spreading the seeds all the time like I always do. Oh, I got a raindrop right in my eye. Of course. But another boysenberry. It's one of the ones I put in this spring. Another daylily under there, but it's getting kind of smothered by the comfrey. It needs some work. Just a beautiful day through here. Right in there is a baptisia, but it hasn't bloomed yet. Here's my pond. Definitely looks very nice to me. I like the duckweed, the green covering, but some people think it looks gross. To me, it's very pretty. Arrowhead throughout, native arrowhead. We're going to start walking this way. Here are one of my annual gardens I've shown off a few times. We've got our peppers in a row. Our squash out there looks like it's doing real well. Lots of peppers. Bee balm. I keep saying peppers. It's mostly, there are 2 peppers, but it's mostly tomatoes in this area. The peppers, I've noticed, haven't really grown much. There's white bee balm. Yep, both my patches of white bee balm have made it. Some comfrey through here I've cut back in order to do a refresh. Iris looks particularly nice there. That bee balm is mostly covering itself, so it must be trying to grow taller. That's a good thing. I was hoping it could grow taller than that. That iris looks little sickly, but it looks all right. This hazel died, but the roots came back, so it should be the same variety. More iris, more iris. There's the one Fuki plant I found, and it was in a bad spot where it got hit with the mower. So I transplanted it out here. Hopefully it can survive the sun. It's a pretty sunny spot. This garlic scape is starting to, forgive using such an unpleasant term, but it's starting to look almost kind of like pimples. That's the actual bluebills forming inside. When they're fully formed, you can plant them out and they make little baby garlic. It takes 2 years to get a good clove off of them. You get a lot of them really easy, so I'll be happy to plant those. Last hazel in this row, and we're going to walk along here. These spots, they're kind of sunken in, have a lot of garden amendments added and a lot of squash seeds. I'm really hoping the squash pull through. Right there's a really pretty red bee balm. My Monty Surprise apple. Really hopeful for the Monty Surprise apple. A lot more squash. A couple of what's the word? I hate losing my words like this. Not strawberries. Sunflowers. A lot of sunflowers along this path too. Hopefully they push up and do fine. More spots I put squash seeds. They really just don't seem to want to come up though. Maybe that variety is just going to be a dud here. It was a variety I really wanted to do well. Normally we come up the other direction for this area, but going this way, there's my dianthus next to one of my apple trees. Right here is my one bush cherry, the one bush cherry I've got, and I'm about to get 2 more from One Green World, so hopefully our bush cherries will start producing once they have companions. They have pollinators. Walking this way, we have one of my peach trees. It's got a lot of weed pressure around it that I was hoping to solve by now. Some comfrey next to this apple tree. Just pushing along. Arkansas black apple. Asparagus. And down there, red vein sorrel. So even with how weedy my garden has gotten, there's still a lot of beauty in the mix. Purple bee balm next to my Odisso red love apple. Another iris. Stepping over here, we have a what's this called? A serviceberry tree, a service tree, or a charm tree. Looks like an animal has come and snipped the top off, probably a deer, just because it was tender. And then comfrey, bee balm, looking really nice. Back over here we've got medlar. Medlars are real beautiful. All their fresh growth starts out this pink, peachy color. And I think this is going to be my first year I get to try a medlar. That one sort of seems to be a double, but it's the only one that pollinated and lasted, so I might try a medlar this year on camera. I'm hopeful. Last year something ate them a little late in the year. Let's see. Squash coming up. Going over to my new medlar. The one behind me is 2 years old. This one was just planted this spring, so another nice looking medlar. Got some potatoes around it. Over here, oh my goodness, it's just a little past perfect, but my prickly pear cactus has bloomed, and there's, for some reason, a great deal of comfrey coming up around it. I don't think I planned on having this much comfrey in this spot. I may just start pulling it all up so that cactus has a chance. Not that it's going to be a problem for me to get more transplanted in, and all the comfrey around it's just going to feed that tree. So I'll have to live with that for now. But yep, that's one of the gummy trees, gummy berries, and they're growing really, really well. Starting out this way. Rain cape's starting to get a little heavy with all the rain it's soaked up, but I'm still pretty dry under it. There's one of my two older gummy berries. Heading along. Starting to see some volunteer squash. Another gummy berry. This one's got a bunch of walking onions all around it. Asparagus. Walking along. Bunch of sage. We're going to look down this tube and hopefully see that this has been growing well. Not nearly so well, but it's not dead, so it's another one. Another gummy. Alright, we're going to pause and I'll take you to the nut orchard. And we'll finish things off there. See y'all in a minute. Alright everybody, we've made it out into space that I call the nut orchard, or the walnut orchard. Starting off here we have American persimmon. Deer have butchered it for me pretty bad, but I'll bet it'll bounce back. It's already looking pretty good. Over here we have my other trellis. We have my cold hardy almond tree, and all my Apios americana looking great. They love moisture from what I hear. They're just partying it out, climbing up really happy and healthy. And then even the kiwi vine down there looks like it made it out, at least. It made it out of the tree tube, because the bunnies kept chewing it down all the time. So now that it's out the top of the tree tube, it looks pretty good. There's a sunflower. Sunflowers work well with all these vining plants for sure. They keep a lot of the trouble away. Currently feeding a couple of the vines back onto the trellis so they don't get blown and snapped. But moving directly behind me, away from the trellis, these potatoes are really not looking very good. I don't know if they caught some kind of disease or what, but this is my apricot tree. It looks alright. I'm gonna start heading this way. I got a free tulip tree right here. It's looking quite good as long as the deer keep leaving it be. It's going to be quite successful, and there's a lot of tomatoes around it coming up, volunteer tomatoes. Right along here, there's a couple of, what's the word for these? Cold hardy pecans. Right there's one. In between I have a plum rootstock that popped up out of nowhere, so I can graft more plums on there some point if I want to. Another cold hardy pecan. Turn directly behind me. Here we have my first American persimmon I planted, and hiding behind it, an absolutely beautiful daylily. Absolutely beautiful daylily. So, got a lot going on here. And of course, I call it the walnut orchard because what this area originally was special for were these big, beautiful, arguably again in need of a trim, but big, beautiful Japanese walnuts that I have had for 2 or 3 years now. They're on black walnut rootstock, but they're Japanese walnuts or heart nuts. They're improved varieties, and I'm quite excited to try them. I would bet that they might produce food next year even. Right here we have my purple rooster bee balm. huge, happy, healthy spot. In there is thornless honey locust. Parent was big fatty. Another Japanese walnut, looking quite good. I have 4 Japanese walnuts total. I'm thinking about getting 2 more. Here we have another one of these beautiful, beautiful bee balm. And close up of this walnut. Gonna have to call it quits here because I'm hearing thunder. But there, one more beautiful honey locust. I'll see y'all in another video as soon as I can. Goodbye now, everybody.